This is my audience. Hi, my name is Terry Foley. Today I'm going to talk to you and tell you how to do a basic oil change. One of the first important things you do on an oil change is to check the oil when the car first comes in or vehicle you're working on. You want to pull the dipstick out and check the level, and also check and see the color of it to make sure there's nothing inside the oil, no rust or nothing like that. After you do that, you want to make sure you locate all the tools that you need and get them ready, because you do not want to waste time by going back and forth to get the tools when you're already working on the vehicle. If you have them first, it's a lot faster and easier to do. After you get your tools ready, you want to get the vehicle and jack it up on a hoist, or if you got a pit to drive over so you can get underneath of it, that's even easier. But once you get the vehicle up in the air, you want to get underneath and you want to first locate the drain pan oil plug. You want to loosen the oil plug up and loosen it slowly, and once it gets about 3/4 of the way out, oil should start coming out a little bit. You want to make sure you get something to catch the oil, that way it don't get all over the floor or don't get all over you, and because it could be really hot. Once you pull the drain plug, you pull it all the way out and let all the oil drain out. While it's draining, you want to get to the oil filter and locate that. And it's usually an orange color, a white color, or a black color. You loosen that up and also oil will start pouring out of that. You loosen it all the way till it comes off. You want to make sure you check to make sure the gasket is still on the oil filter and not on the engine. Because if it's on the engine and you put a new oil filter on, you can have an oil leak and possibly blow your engine. So that is real one that you need to check to make sure it's not on there. After you do that, you need to put the drain plug back in and tighten it to the specifications. After you do that, you take the new oil filter and you get a little bit of fresh oil and rub around the gasket on the new oil filter. You put that on and you turn that on with your hand until it tightens. Once it is tightened and it stops spinning, you spin that about 3/4 of a turn, and that's as tight as you get. You don't want to over tighten it because that can cause problems, and you don't want it too loose because that can also cause problems. Once you do that, you want to get out from underneath the vehicle and you want to add the new oil to the vehicle. After you add the new oil, you want to get inside the vehicle, start it up, and let it run for about 4 to 5 minutes. And while it is running, you want to check everything that you just did and make sure that it's not leaking nowhere. After you check all that, you want to make sure you look inside the car to make sure the oil gauge comes up to about halfway. Once it does that, you want to shut it off and wait 2 to 3 minutes for the oil to drain back down. After the oil is drained back down, you want to check the dipstick and make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. You can get a lot of books at the auto store or at a library or anything like that to find out exactly how much oil to add. And what I recommend doing is adding a little bit less oil than what it calls for, because if you add too much, you will have to go back and re-drain it, and that's just more time, and it's also, harder to do. So I recommend to add less. That way, after you do start it and check it, if it needs more, you can add more. After you check it and it's full, you are done with the oil change. I recommend doing oil changes about every 3 months to 3,000 miles. Some of the newer cars go for about 4 months to 5,000 miles before an oil change. But I recommend doing that routinely because it helps lubricate all your moving parts in your engine. And if you do not do that, it will cause your engine to seize and lock up. And it gets real dirty in there, and it causes them not to want to move back and forth. And that's what I want to tell you about doing my oil change. Thank you.